honorable members. My name is Njoroge Mwangi, and I believe sasa mtanunua gari. Ndio? Si tumeambiwa mambo ya kununua gari. Watu wale hawataki kunyeshewa, but anyway, as you buy that vehicle, you have to start somewhere. Sio tu kupata gari, it have to start by being a good member of this society. Being a good member of Nyumba Non-WDT Deposit Taking Sacco Society. That is your current name because you are regulated by SASRA. As I have indicated, Njoroge Mwangi is my name. I'm in charge of cooperatives within Dagoretti sub-county. Cooperatives is a devolved function, operating and functioning under the county government of Nairobi because of devolution. However, the way you save was not affected by devolution because whatever you are doing did not change. So today I'll be taking you through some of the information relating and more so through the theme that was provided. What was the theme? Nasijasikia mukiongea mambo ya theme ya leo. It was about financial freedom. You cannot be free financially unless you save. But first you have to understand cooperatives. We have the principles of cooperatives. There are 7 of them. Just to remind you, the first one being voluntary and open membership, that joining a society is voluntary and exiting is also voluntary. But the issue of exiting should not be a consideration because you join a cooperative society to be empowered financially. At what time can you consider that you are now financially empowered? Do you have a time that you can say that sasa sitaki pesa zingine, I am okay? Do you have that time? You have to keep on requesting or wanting to get more and more. Voluntary and open membership. Membership is always open within the common board of the society. And I believe you have the bylaws that describes what is the common board of this society. So anyone within the common board can be able to join the society. Democratic member control. We need to ensure that we control this society democratically. You are the owners of this society. You are also the customers. So you control the society democratically through a general meeting. And that is why every year we must have a general meeting where the law provides that every society must hold an AGM within 4 months after the closure of the financial year. So that's something that you need to consider and also attend that general meeting. It's a right for you as a member and also an obligation. Let's not say that others will be able to attend, will be able to discuss on our behalf. They are coming to make decisions. Decisions are made in a general meeting. And that is where the democratic rights are exercised, attend and participate. Economic participation by members. Each member must participate in the economic activities of the society. And what is the economic activity of your SACCO? Savings and credit. That's why we have the minimum monthly contribution. How much do you save minimally? What is that minimum in Nyumba Sacco? 1,500. 1,500. Sidio? That is the minimum monthly contribution to ensure that you participate in the economic activities of the society. But that is the minimum. But if you're able to save more, the better for you. Because the way you take loans is determined by the savings that you have. Because if you save that minimum of 1,500, it means how much are you saving? Because you live day by day, how much are you saving on a daily basis? 1,500 divided by 30. 50 shillings. Sidio? That's what you save on a daily basis. How about the expenses that you spend on a daily basis? Is it less than 50 or more than 50? It depends on your spending, how you spend. What is the cost of a loaf of bread? 65. Meaning if you are saving 50 shillings per day, you are not even saving a loaf of bread per day. How can you be able to improve on that? It's upon you to make the decision. Because we consider that the future belongs to those who plan for it today. And if you are spending more than the 50, it means you want today to be better than tomorrow. But let's think about that if you are on that category. Number 4, it's autonomy and independence. That once a society is registered, it's an independent organization. It's a body corporate. It can own property in its own name. It can sue or be sued. It's an independent organization registered under the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 490. Number 5, the reason as to why we have members' education every year. Education, training, and information. Let's participate. Let's attend members' educations. This is where we get information. And they say with information, you can be able to make the right decision. Decisions are made by those who have information. Cooperation among cooperatives. How do we cooperate with other cooperative societies? Nyumba Sacco needs to cooperate with others. That's why every year we have a day known as Ushirika Day celebrations, where it's attended by all cooperators. Every first Saturday of July. It's an international day for cooperators. Let's be attending those days because we have exhibitions from other societies. You have an interaction with other societies. Even the leadership needs to interact with other societies. Sio kusema tu ni kukaa kwa Nyumba Sacco, mko kwa nyumba kila wakati kwa nyumba. Let the leaders also interact with others. That's a forum that you can be able to interact with others. Next week you have an international conference, the 14th African Conference. It is being held in Kenya this year. It will be at Safari Park. That's where leaders will be meeting the other leaders from Africa. So the issue of cooperation among cooperatives needs to be considered so that you can be able to tell how are others performing. Share your experiences with others. The last one is concern for community in general. That is the CSR for cooperatives. And every society makes a decision on how they get concerned about other communities. How can you give back? Savings you have considered. That Sacco considers that it's to promote thrift, good money management. Save in the society so that money management can be considered. It's about management of your finances. If you are not to save in a cooperative society, if you are to save in a bank, though I believe most of you or some of you works in commercial banks, I do not consider the amount of money that is saved in a bank to be saving, because you can be able to access that money anytime, even at the comfort of your sitting room. You can be able to access the money and make use of it. But whatever you save in the Sacco, how can you access that money unless you take a loan? So that is why savings is considered to be a deferred consumption, deduction of expenses. It's a form of investment, which you need to consider. You have to invest. And these savings are the ones that strengthens a cooperative society. Without savings, you cannot be able to consider that you can be able to issue loans to members. That's why savings is very key. So poor savings in a cooperative society leads to so many challenges. So we do savings. Unless we increase that minimum savings that we save, that's when we can be able to eradicate all the challenges that can be faced as a result of poor savings. The issue of borrowings needs to be considered because principle number 3, tumesema inaitwaje? Economic participation by members. You have to save and you have to take loans. You cannot be saving without taking loans. Though from the results of your finances, your financial reports, a look of the finances indicated that members don't take loans as they save. You save more than taking loans. So we have to ensure that you take loans, because without borrowing, you cannot be able to grow financially. And the secret is that you cannot grow with your finances only. I have heard of products. Kuna product nimesikia zinaitwa self-guarantee at 95% of your savings. Does it mean that you only want to grow with your savings only? That's what you want. Because if you have $1 million, you can only take 950,000. Sidio? Are you actually growing financially? And remember, bado miaka inaenda. And I believe there is retirement. If you take that loan for 5 years, bado unakaribia your retirement, are you actually growing financially? Yet you are only making use of your finances. So let's consider prudent borrowing, planning before borrowing. Because you have the different types of loans. Tumesikia zenu ni 14. Were they 14? Including the self-guarantee. I wish you can be able to take away the self-guarantee. Because self-guaranteeing means that you don't want to be a good cooperator. You know, a good cooperator cooperates with others. You may find those are persons who wakiambiwa watafute guarantors, anazunguka na fomu wiki moja, wiki mbili bado haijapata. So you opt to have the self-guarantee. But I wish we can actually consider other securities, other collaterals. So that if you are not able to get the guarantors, you can bring a collateral which you can be able to make use of other people's money by taking a loan at a multiplier. The maximum is it times 4? Times 5? At 10? Mara 10. If I have $1 million, I can get 10 million. Then why should you take 95% of your savings? And yet you have times 10. You cannot be able to grow with your own money. The types of loans, concentrate on the long-term loans. That's my advice to the members. Long-term loans. Because that is where you can be able to take a good amount of money. Start a project. Invest somewhere. Maximum repayment. Ni miaka gapi? That 84 months. 84 months ni miaka gapi? 7. Yeah, 7 years. If you take self-guarantee 7 years, then again 7 years. Si unaletea kuretire. When will you ever grow financially? Take the times 10. Concentrate on the long-term loans. That is what will be able to remind you, because retirement will be coming. And actually after retirement, you will not remember where you are, that you are once employed. The salary cannot remind you that you are employed. You will be remembering the employment through the loans that you took from the Sacco and what you did with them. If you started a project, a certain business, or maybe a product that you bought and constructed the house that you are living. That is what will be reminding you that you are employed somewhere, not the salary itself. The salary becomes like a stepping stone. So let's consider the long-term loans, because those are the ones that can be able to assist us. Financial planning, which is very key. It was all about financial freedom. So you have to ensure that we plan for finances. Though we have Dr. Gashara will be talking much about this. But just to have a look at the loans that you take, you have to plan before you take that loan. No one is guaranteed of job in the life anymore. In life, you have to consider things can change. Downsizing can be undertaken. Outsourcing has become the norm. Suppose your department becomes one of the departments to be outsourced. You'll be phased out. Where do you go? So that is the consideration, that you should not be comfortable. Always be uncomfortable wherever you are, because anything can happen. So we consider that most employees are 1 to 2 pay slips away from bankruptcy. How long can you take before you get the next job and you sustain the same lifestyle that you are used to? That's the consideration that you need to make. Anything can happen. What will happen? Because we consider anyone's concern is about to secure life from its very uncertainties. Life is very uncertain because you don't know about tomorrow. Remember the big companies, the supermarkets that were there, Tuskys, Uchumi, zote zilienda. Those who are there, suppose they were comfortable that we are employed, and the retirement age in Kenya is 60 years, and someone considers I'm 40. I have 20 more years to work. Where are they now? They have to look elsewhere. So life is very uncertain. So we know that financial security is very key. How are you planning about that financial security? And that is why we are saying you have to plan before you borrow, because you have to invest that money. And the ultimate goal is a comfortable retirement. I don't know whether you have ever thought about retirement. When you will retire. Though most of you will tell me that there is no retirement, but those who are employed, retirement is there. Sidio? You have to retire one day. Every day that you wake up, you are getting that retirement date. So, I wish you can be able to think about that retirement. When you will retire, where you will retire, and how you will retire, and how you will be. How will you live after retirement? So, who will you be at retirement? They say that it's not the business of the employer to promote you at your place of work. Neither is it the business of the employer to make you rich. It's your business, and that is why you are a member of this circle. How can you be able to ensure that you multiply the savings that you make in the society? By making proper use of the loans that you take through investment. So it becomes your business. What the employer does is only to compensate you for services that you have from day 1 to the 30th day. It's a compensation of that service. Whatever you do with that salary, it's not the business of your employer. Ukitaka kutumia zote in one day, si unazitumia? Hiyo sio shida ya employer. All what the employer wants, the following day that you are seated there to offer the service. So it becomes your business. Though they say that the salary is growing. Sijui kama kwenu unajua in a financial institution the salary keeps, maybe it keeps on growing. Si kama kwetu, we are civil servants. The salary is always, the growth inakuwa kidogo sana. But the threats grows at a higher rate than the salary. Then what do we do? Do we have an option? The deductions keeps on increasing. What happens? What do I do? However much the net, the gross may be too huge, but the net keeps on. Lakini hata yenu pia sinafanyago hivyo. Shifu ndio hiyo. Housing. Nyinyi ni watu wa Nyumba Sacco na bado mnalipa nyumba. Si ndio? Nyumba lazima inaitwa housing levy. Si lazima mlipe. So hatuko, we are together in that journey. The net keeps on. Hatujui what next. Another tax may come. But do you have an option? The option is that you need to take responsibility of that salary so that you can be financially free. Take personal responsibility, because life is about decisions, actions, and the consequences. We live with the consequences. Out of the decisions you make on that salary, the actions that you take, consequences are the ones that we live with. So it therefore implies that financial decisions and actions have an effect on your financial health now and in the future. That's why you need to take personal responsibility. And they say that 99% of failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses that you cannot manage. Hata hiyo kagari siwezi nunua, kamshahara ni kadogo. These are just excuses. Lazima mimi niwezi ninyeshewe na huko nilipe ni, just excuses, because they say that it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep. How hard the money works for you and how many generations you can keep it for. You can be earning a lot, but how much money do you keep in Nyumba Sacco? Because that is the starting point for financial freedom. Not the 1,500 that you save. If you are there, it has to be a substantial amount so that the money can be able to work for you in future. So how much do you keep in this society? You may be earning hundreds of thousands, but savings kidogo. But those who are earning less may be saving more. So you have to ensure that you save as much as possible. And that will ensure that many people have either results or reasons. What do you have? So you have to decide today the kind of person that you want to be. One who delivers results or always having reasons for not having the results. That's a decision that you need to make. So members, a salary does not make you rich. It's never too late to start proper planning. So start planning today, because the future belongs to those who plan for it today. Get an extra income generating activity. That is the key consideration. If you rely only on one source of income, the salary, you cannot be financially free, because the salary will be, the pay slip will be full of different loan products. Na inaisha. So, what extra can you be able to do? As I conclude, some financial tips. Have a monthly budget. How much money should you save is a consideration, so that you can be able to consider that you are saving for the future. You want to be financially free. Recognize and manage lifestyle inflation. We always talk about inflation. But the inflation in us, the lifestyle that we live in, that's what is eating into our incomes. Because you want to keep on shifting. Maybe where you live. If you are a professional tenant, you keep on shifting from one estate to another. And yet you shift with your belongings. But you are only increasing the expenses. So let's consider the lifestyle inflation. Recognize needs and wants. Start saving early. It's never too late. Build and maintain an emergency fund. Do you bring everything to the society? Must you take an emergency loan? Is it a must? Must you take a school fees loan? Is it a must? It all depends on the plans that you have. Plan for your loans in advance and avoid borrowing for consumption. Invest wisely in productive projects. Do you consider the projects that you invest in as you take loans? Where do you take that loan? Is it a consideration of because others are into that project and you are venturing into the same? Or is it that you understand that project so that once you venture into it, you know everything? You'll be able to maneuver. Not asking others how to maneuver. Avoid impulse buying. Learn to live within your means. Don't live because others are living. Don't do things because others are doing. But live within your means. Avoid being too generous and love yourself. How can you avoid being too generous? It is by ensuring that you are saving as much as possible. Almost everything goes to savings and the loans. Don't have that at the end of the month, whatever is hitting the bank account is too much. Let it be as minimal as possible. Ili mtu akikwambia nipeleke mahali, tunaenda sijui rorashio wapi, ama tunaenda harusi wapi, every weekend, unaambia we are going somewhere. But if you have a habit of telling someone that I don't have the time, the funds are not enough, hawatakuwa kikwambia. They'll be going all alone. They'll say that you are selfish, you don't want to assist others, but because you love yourself by taking loans, by saving more, that's how you love yourself. The road least traveled, the road to investment. I hope you are all traveling along this road. The road ahead is very good, very smooth. How about the road behind? Bumpy, rough. Let's travel along this road. But the starting point is savings. Minimum monthly contribution. Let's not stick to the minimum. We have to save more so that we can be able to grow financially. For us to travel along that road of investment, we have to save. Not the 1,500. They say a minimum of 10% of your earnings. So if you are saving 1,500, it means how much are you earning? If 1,500 is 10%, 15,000. So if you are earning 15,000, 1,500 it's okay. But if it's more than that, then you are a joker. Because you are not saving at least 10%. Think about that so that you can be able to travel along that road. Lastly, one great man, Carlos Slim, said that wealth is like an orchard. You have to share the fruits and not the trees. What do you share with others? Invest so that you can share the fruits of your investments. And that is how you can be free financially. Because if you share whatever you are supposed to have invested, what will you invest? Share what you have, the fruits of your investments, so that you can be someone who can be able to say that actually, financially, I am free. Sikuwa na wakati mwingi. That is the little I was to share with you so that we can get more from the consultant. With that, members, asanteni, and I wish you all the best as you make your decisions. Life, it's about actions and decisions. Consequences, we will live with them. Asanteni.